Right, now let's go ahead and do the blood vessels below the heart. All right, now, in the thoracic cavity, on the vein side is the inferior vena cava again. And there is the IVC right there. Right, so there is the inferior vena cava right there. There's my diaphragm, and there's the inferior vena cava that will continue on down there. Okay, let's take that out of the way. In the thoracic cavity, there is my aorta, thoracic aorta. So what we're seeing in there really isn't much there until we cross the diaphragm into the abdominal pelvic cap area. Right? So let's do that. So we cross over into the abdominal pelvic, and there is my inferior vena cava right there. Alright, now there's my renal vein, and the kidney is the renal gland. So renal vein comes out of the kidney. Okay, this right here, folks, is the adrenal gland right there, and that vein right there is the adrenal lumbar vein. And this wasn't on your blood vessel diagram. If you have that blood vessel diagram, the vein and the artery, you need to draw the adrenal gland and add that the adrenal lumbar vein. Right, let me just write that on the board there for you. Okay.
You want
Okay, you no.
I was gonna write
Teacher, go ahead. Okay, go ahead. You do it. There you go. She wants to go ahead. I know she's itching to write there. Go ahead. Adrenal lumbar. All right. Big vein, ladies and gentlemen, right there on that small adrenal gland. Big vein. Why? Fight, flight. Remember, adrenal medulla, huge hormone, no epinephrine, part of my fight, flight. So into that, up to the heart, there's the heart, speed of light. Very, very, very fast. Alright? So we continue on. There's my inferior vena cava running down. And now here, it bifurcates in the body cavity. We had broken up the male reproductive system here so that we can see. And the branching right there branches into the left, towards the left leg, the right leg, and that, we're going to call that the common iliac right there. That splits into the internal, the external, we're going to call it the common iliac. So there is my left common iliac in the body cavity. In the body cavity. Right? When it leaves the body cavity, same blood vessel right there, it is now there in my thigh area. And the clinical name for the thigh area is the femoral. So there is the femoral vein right there. Alright? About midway in the thigh, there's going to be a branch, which I don't have right there, but I have the artery. So the vein where the blue would have been, that comes from the tail. And that is called the caudofemoralis vein. And next to it is the caudofemoralis artery. T-junction. Right? The vein continues, and then what we see is there is a Y-junction again, which means branching. And that branching comes from the lower leg, all of that right there. That is called the saphenous vein or saphenous vein. And from behind the knee, which is a deep, it starts out as a deep vein right there, that is the popliteal. So the saphenous, the popliteal, they join right there into the femoral vein. And then the cream right here, that is the femoral nerve. Right, so those are the veins. Now the arteries, folks, when we cross the diaphragm, you're going to look for two arteries. The first one right under the diaphragm is the celiac artery. And the celiac artery is going to continue on, and there are going to be three branches that comes off the celiac. This first one right there runs under the stomach to the liver, and that is called the hepatic artery. The second one right there runs towards the stomach, and that is called the gastric. So notice the roots of the words. And then the third one continues on to the spleen, and that is called the splenic. So hepatic, gastric, splenic. Alright? The second of these arteries, right there, big one, It's called the superior mesentery artery. And the superior mesentery artery runs through the mesentery. This is the mesentery, right here, that holds the small intestine, attached to the small intestine, holds it in place. And there are the branches of the superior mesentery artery right there. So superior mesentery artery, just below the celiac, runs to the small intestine. Okay? Now, these brown blood vessels right here, the brown right there, those are branches of the hepatic portal vein. Hepatic portal vein. Portal, something beneficial. In this case, nutrients. So all of my nutrients, my glucose, my amino acids here, all are going to be transported via the hepatic portal vein to the liver. And there, folks, is the hepatic portal vein right there. So there is the hepatic portal vein. So there's my superior mesentery. There's the hepatic portal vein running up to the liver. It's a vein, deoxygenated blood. Portal, nutrients. Now the other thing we want to notice is all of this cream right here. All of these cream are nerve fibers of the sympathetic nervous system, thoracolumbar. And there, that little sesame seed-like structure right there, that is the celiac plexus. Notice celiac artery, celiac plexus. Right? And remember now, what is the plexus? A group of cell bodies or ganglion, the celiac ganglion, right there. So we're actually able to see one of this. We talked about that in chapter 16. There we can see it. Right? Okay, now let's continue on. There is the kidney. There's the renal artery. So renal artery, renal vein. My aorta continues on. And then lower down, I have the inferior mesentery artery right there. And the inferior mesentery artery runs into my large intestine. So superior mesentery, small intestine, inferior mesentery, large intestine. Right? And then we get down here, same thing, branching. Now there's two levels of branching. We're only going to look at that first one, common iliac. So common iliac artery, common iliac vein. Common iliac artery in the body cavity. And when it leaves the body cavity, I'm in the femoral area. There is my femoral artery. So femoral artery, pink, femoral vein, blue, femoral nerve, cream. There is my cordofemoralis artery next to the cordofemoralis vein. And then my femoral artery just runs whoop to behind the knee. And behind the knee, it is called the popliteal artery. So again, folks, location, location, location. You know these body regions already. You should from Bio 141. The names take on the same. Right, so those are the blood vessels.